I want to talk about Wuthering Waves because I got a chat message yesterday saying something along the lines of, what do you think about content creators not hyping Wuthering Waves? I kind of had like an immediate sort of like frustrated reaction to that because my ass wants to make some Wuthering Waves content. Subscribe! Wuthering Waves is made by Kuro Games. Kuro Games is the same company that made Punishing Gray Raven. People call it PGR. And PGR is sort of known for being a really good gacha game with really good combat that never got any large sweeping popularity or success due primarily to the fact that it was not advertised properly, if barely at all. PGR could have and should have, I think by most people's standards, done better. But the lack of advertising meant that most people don't even necessarily, like a lot of people don't even know that it exists. And if they did know that it exists, that doesn't mean that they've necessarily tried playing it. That was like sort of a concern for me always, that this was a company that was known for making good games that they didn't advertise to make them popular. There was a global launch trailer 3 weeks ago. They have posted this one Resonator showcase, which I will say for the vast majority of content creators that did try to make content off of this, it did not do well. It didn't do that well for me. It didn't do well for a lot of people, but that is essentially it. They said the release date and have almost not posted any marketing for the game almost at all. I think most people want Wuthering Waves to succeed, to do well. I don't know that very many people think that Wuthering Waves is gonna kill Genshin or do better than Genshin during COVID, but most people, I think, want Wuthering Waves to be successful and, create some competition, do some new things, have a game that is actually really worth playing every day. And that is not going to happen if there is not advertising. Wuthering Waves is coming out in less than a month at this point, and we have gotten almost no new footage, almost no new anything since the beta test, other than this Resonator showcase for Encore, which I like the Resonator showcase, but it was not really what I was waiting to get from Wuthering Waves at this point. The first impression of anything is kind of the most important impression always. That's why your first impression at an interview is important, right? And I am extremely concerned if the first impression of Wuthering Waves gives flop, that it will have to be like content creators' responsibility to unflop it, which is essentially impossible. Because that is always going to end up being the talking point. Well, Wuthering Waves flopped on release. Am I supposed to take it seriously? It flopped on release. That's always gonna be like, anybody who doesn't want to give Wuthering Waves their flowers or whatever are always going to say that. How do you market a game that is not marketing itself? Like, there are ways, but the reality of the situation is that what you have to ask content creators to do, fully generate content off of a game that is not released, that a lot of people have not played, that is interesting, that is realistically not gonna do that well because there is not enough hype for Wuthering Waves, and hope that once it releases, that time and money investment will be worth it. Because for me to make in-depth content about Wuthering Waves, I probably have to take a day off stream, do a bunch of research, look at some beta footage. I gotta put together probably some form of like a script. I have to film it and I have to have it edited, most likely off stream. That is not really a super exciting concept for a lot of streamers when they already have games that they cover that they know they can make content for more quickly and get a better return on investment. It's a very difficult thing, and leaving it to creators to hype a game on their own is very rough. I can make, hypothetical content about what I think about certain characters or certain analysis or whatever, but that's based off of beta stuff that was previous to what will be released from Wuthering Waves. So it's like, it's not a particularly attractive concept. The biggest meta around marketing a game like this is the drip marketing. It's how Hoyo does it, right? There are characters that I'm sure were not nearly as interesting to people until Hoyo started doing that really nice, really high quality, really interesting drip marketing. You're already having to compete with Genshin just by nature of being the same genre of game. This is like the only game that has ever been the same genre of Genshin, where it's this sort of open world anime RPG, you know, game. There's not another game that has been quite this similar to Genshin. There have been other games that have been, you know, gacha games that have similar qualities. There's been tower fantasy and stuff like that, but it's not that similar. This is the most similar game. This is the most direct competitor to Genshin that has ever been released. And there's no marketing. We are going to have to go into a game. If they don't start picking up on marketing, we are going to get some people who will try Wuthering Waves and probably play until Zenless Zone Zero if they like Zenless Zone Zero, or they're not going to try it at all because there's not enough hype. I want to make content, but it's super, super difficult. It is super, super difficult to make content about a game where there is almost no material to make content off of. We're talking about a game. We're not talking about philosophy where we can just have thoughts about things. We are talking about a game that is going to release. How do we make content off of a game that is going to release where we only have footage that is out of date and there's no marketing, there's like nothing. Marketing prior to the game coming out is very, very important. I don't want to be having worries about the game. I want to go, let's go Kuro Games. I can't fucking wait. But we can't do that when they don't release anything. And all we can do is like generate hopeful content for the future that will still hold up. Because my goal was to have a bunch of woo-wah videos out before the game releases, because I would like to very much invest my time and energy into this game because I'm really, really excited for it. But there's a very high difficulty in making content with no content about the game out. Like, what are we supposed to make anything about? I am concerned that the lack of marketing for this game is going to make it less and less attractive to make content for this game when it comes out, or to fully invest in this game as a content creator before it comes out. And I want Wuthering Waves to succeed very badly because I liked Genshin. I loved playing Genshin. It's an experience that is one of my favorite gaming experiences I ever in a million years. There's not a lot of gaming experiences that compare for me to Genshin Impact. And so like, I want to play this game because if this is Genshin Impact, but without all of the shit that made Genshin Impact shitty, I am about it. I will take Genshin Impact, but without all of the things that made Genshin Impact not that good and not that fun. Like, gacha games are supported very, very specifically and very heavily by the content creators that make content for those games. And if content creators don't see the game as being a profitable and worthwhile venture, they'll probably just go to Zenless Zone Zero, or they'll go back to Honkai Star Rail or Genshin. And there's not necessarily a fix for this. I'm going to go ahead and try and make more Wuthering Waves content. I don't really care. I want to play this game so badly. Even if it does terrible for my channel, I might just continue playing it because I'm really excited. So that's my point. I am concerned for the game. They need to start putting out more advertising more aggressively. If that takes the place of getting some advertising from creators, if that takes the place of doing a creator beta, I don't care. Please. Honestly, my genuine hope at this point that this is a completely irrelevant video like 3 days after I post it. But I'll see you guys later. Bye!